and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I am Sakshi, Batra, and this is a special edition where our focus is going to be on the upcoming IPO space. As you know, the space is hotting up, and now we are keeping an eye out on the pharma space as Bain Capital-backed Emcure Pharmaceuticals is all set to float its IPO on July 3rd. It's an Indian pharmaceutical manufacturer. It creates and products and also markets a wide range of products internationally and also in India in many therapeutic areas as well. It has a unique product portfolio that the top management will be explaining to us in just a bit from now. Over 70 countries is where it has its presence in, especially in Europe, Canada and in India. Like I said, remember the IPO is comprised of a fresh offering of about 800 crores and an offer by existing promoters and shareholders of about 1151 odd crore rupees. And the price band for this IPO has been set at 960 to 1008 rupees per equity share. Now, to discuss with us what is the company's vision, the growth plans going forward, the financials right now, all of those details will be discussed by top management who's joining us on this show. Mr. Satish Mehta joins in. He's the MD and the CEO of Emcure Pharmaceuticals, and also joining in is the lovely Namita Thapar, whole-time director of Emcure Pharmaceuticals. Warm welcome to you, sir and ma'am, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. First up, congratulations, you're setting a foot on the first time as far as D Street is concerned. So here's going to be a beginning of a lot of conversations with respect to our investors and viewers who continue to watch you on stock markets front. Let me start off by asking you, Satish ji, help our viewers first understand your own story as far as Emcure is concerned, and what has really taken for you to reach to this step on D Street now, sir.
It's a very interesting question because what really happens, born and brought up in Pune, and after that, did my MSc in organic chemistry, and after that, landed in IIM Ahmedabad. Asked me to appear again, I'll flunk. Maybe I went to IIM Ahmedabad 75, did my MBA, and that's the time, Sakshi ji, I was the only person who did not opt, for any placement because I said, "Kuch khud karke batayenge." So that's how, in early 80s, I started Emcure Pharma. And there is a reason for being in pharmaceuticals, because my father was already in pharma distribution. We also had a retail outlet in Pune. So there was some familiarity, with the pharma business. So that's how, I started with very humble beginning. And I still recollect, in early 80s, the sale was hardly a couple of crores, And from there, I think, with the help of everyone, we have come a long way. So that has been the story. It has been a great journey, 40 years of fantastic, association with this company. And it's a great fun, building this company, which is essentially driven, by science, technology, innovation. That is something very close to my heart. Then the other thing, that we did was quality. That is something paramount. And third thing, which has been very, very important from my point of view, has always had, a patient-centric approach. That was the fundamental thing, while launching new products. And fourth thing, very fortunate that the team stayed with me and was able to have respect, of colleagues and people at large. So it has been a great journey as I look back. These 4 decades of association with Emcure has been great, and every day has been a new learning experience.
Wonderful. Let me take across the same question to even Namita. And it's very interesting. Why? Because on the D Street, there are many of our viewers and investors who actually listen about a company, get to know about a company for the first time when it is coming for an IPO. But thanks to Namita, this company has already got very famous, and there are a lot of inquisitiveness already because of your wide presence on television. And therefore, there was this excitement even before this IPO was to come, that this is one IPO that everybody would be watching out for, Namita. So do tell us your own journey with it, and what is your vision for Emcure now that it starts with the second phase of being in the listed arena?
Sakshi, my father beautifully articulated how Emcure is truly a shining example of entrepreneurship in our country. One of the reasons I wanted to be on Shark Tank as well is because when you receive so much, you always want to give back to the startup ecosystem. And we're so proud that we're entering our next phase. I look after the domestic business. So when you talk about my vision, I'd again like to talk about a term that he used, which we use all the time within the company, which is patient centricity. So if you look at our tagline as well, it says cure and beyond. And Sakshi, being a woman, you can appreciate that women's health is a big gap in our country. Whether you talk about awareness, whether you talk about access, whether you talk about affordability, all three A's. Big gap, dismal statistics. And this is one area that Emcure is truly committed to in terms of patient education, early diagnosis, affordable medication. So with a lot of pride, I lead the India business. We're in 19 therapeutic areas, Sakshi. The strong ones being gynec, where we have a 13.5% market share, significant lead even over the second player in the market. Cardiovascular, where with the in-licensed product from Sanofi, again, we have a very strong presence. We have anti-infectives, gastro, HIV. We're also in very progressive markets like diabetes and CNS. So very proud that we're truly a diversified company, both in terms of geography as well as presence in TAs.
All right, that's a wonderful context to start off with. Let me just circle back to Mr. Mehta and understand from him now about this IPO, and then we will get into the financials and the outlook going forward too. So for this IPO, as I mentioned in my opening comments as well, 800 crores as a fresh issue and 1151 as the offer for sale. First up, help us understand if there has been a change and a reduction as far as the offer for sale portion is concerned. What was the thought behind reducing that, and going forward, what are you going to be using the fresh proceeds for, sir?
No, basically, as far as the IPO is concerned, whatever size and whatever we are doing is after, due deliberation with our investment bankers. So we are having the top guys, helping us. So based on that, size and offer, primary, secondary has been discussed, debated, and then we have come out with the size of the issue, that we are mentioning. As regards usage is concerned, out of this 800 CR, that we are raising, 600 crores, will go toward discharge of debt, long-term debt that we have on the books. And on 31st of March, we had debt of around 1500 CR plus. And company is also generating sufficient cash, so this will go towards, discharging of debt. So obviously, the interest liability will be reduced.
Okay, and what will that do to your margins, sir? What are your margins currently at, and once you have that reduction in place, and also what will be the plan to further reduce the debt going forward from here?
No, again, the margins are comparable. That's all part of DRHP. So the margins, going forward should improve. But at the same time, what really happens, once the interest cost is reduced, that will obviously flow to PAT. The PAT will be much better once, the interest cost is gone.
Okay, I will also come to financials a bit later, but let me get Namita right here. From the offer of sale portion, who are the selling shareholders, Namita, and what will be the shareholding pattern once the company gets listed now?
I will have him answer this. It's more of a corporate question. I'll stick to my domestic.
Okay, sir, to you.
We talked about the primary. As far as secondary is concerned, as you know, Bain Capital is our investors, so they are putting a certain percentage, and balance is obviously the family and other shareholders 1.6 or 1.7. So that's how the size of the issue is around 10.2%, I believe. And post listing, the family will continue to hold 79-80% of the equity.
Okay. Also, you did talk about what are you going to be using the proceeds for, which is largely the reduction of the debt. How are you planning on your expansions now, Namita? Could you come up with a view on, what is your growth plan for the company going forward?
So, like the CEO mentioned, we're going to look at the biosimilars area. There's tremendous potential in the domestic business because that's riding on the India consumer story. So whether that's increasing your reps, whether that's going into tier 2, tier 3 cities, looking at more in-licensing deals, looking possibly at acquisitions, there are multiple areas that we can look at for growth in the domestic market. And definitely this is one area, Sakshi, that we're betting big on.
Okay.
Sakshi,
yes, Satish.
I would like to add, because what happens, the domestic market is very, very close to our heart. And let me tell you, that as far as the domestic market is concerned, I'm a late entrant. Emcure is a late entrant. By mid-95, we started marketing our products. At that time, sales was barely 2 crores. So what really happens, because of science, technology, innovation, which is very, very close to my heart, my company has given maximum number of new differentiated products, to the industry, whether chemistry or biotechnology, and that's how we have reached the current position. So obviously, we will double down on whatever we are doing. And as Namita rightly mentioned some time back, we'll also go to tier two, tier three cities in the sense, add more people. Then obviously, whatever the strength that we have, whether we can increase the productivity per person, that's the second lever that we have. Third thing, as she rightly mentioned, we will also go in for in licensing, the type of deal, that we had with Sanofi. The fourth, lever will obviously be in terms of, getting the newer products, both in chemistry and biotech, from our R&D. That has been the core strength, because incidentally, though I did MBA, but basically I'm MSc in organic chemistry from Pune University. So science is very, very close to my heart. That is something, we'll keep on doing. And last but not the least, what has happened in last few years, the entire growth has been organic. So post listing, we will also be inclined to look at inorganic growth. So these are the five levers, that we have for increasing our presence in the domestic market.
Okay. Namita, maybe if you can take it, or maybe I'll toss it to sir also. Right now you're saying that, domestic market is your key focus. If you could help us break down this in terms of revenue, what is the contribution that comes from the domestic market? What is it outside? And how do you see that going forward from here?
So currently we're at about 48% of revenue in terms of the domestic market, but we have a very strong presence in other markets as well, Sakshi. And so the aspiration is to use both growth levers, because we truly have differentiated products. We believe in the science, technology, giving that extra in every branded generic that we bring to the market. And so wherever there's growth, wherever there's potential and Emcure has a presence, we will get stronger there.
Okay. Satish sir, if you could also help us break this down in terms of the product categories revenue contribution that there is. Right now, which is the category that contributes more to your revenues, and how do you see that panning out?
So basically, let me, before coming to that question, I will just add to what Namita said a few seconds back, a few minutes back. I like, domestic market. I like emerging markets, because emerging markets also mimic the domestic market, to a very great extent. And obviously, we have a reasonably good presence in Canada and Europe. Now, coming to the question that you specifically asked, that say one area that we dominate, we are number one in gynecology. That contributes significantly to turnover. As she rightly mentioned, we are very, very passionate about the women health. The second area where we are doing very well is in the field of cardiology, and our position has been pretty much reinforced because of our association with Sanofi. Then we are very strong in oncology, nephrology. We are very strong in pain management, gastroenterology, and couple of areas, growth areas that we have picked up. We want to make our presence felt, going forward in diabetology, then CNS and dermatology. These are the three segments, where we would like to focus going forward. So I think, we are in the business of selling specialty products. We are in the business of offering products, which are driven by research, science, and technology. So we'll do consistently, with whatever we have been doing in last 40 years,
Right. So do you have also any star products that we can refer to going forward from here? Every company really talks about some star products, because we do not get it off the record, and it's not medicines that you have people go out on the chemists and they get it. So it's largely behind the scenes that we get it. If you could tell us any star products of yours that we can understand better.
No, I can tell you, we have done exceedingly well in the field of anemia. And Sakshi, I'll tell you, I'm very proud, because all these products are developed in-house. That's all happened in my R&D. And it's a matter of great pride when I tell you that absolutely top-class scientists over there in chemistry or biotechnology are working for me. So that's how, we gave ferrous ascorbate to the country, and Oroforex is a very big brand, is doing fabulously well. The other big brand, we have in chirality. Chirality is another area which is very close to my heart, and we almost, introduced 10 to 11 products in the field of chirality. So Asomex, then Eslo, these are the big brands. Midpure is a big brand. And last but not the least, that biotechnology is another area we have done well. I think, as you know, myocardial infarction and stroke, these are the two areas, which are in the country. And there, we have come out with products, like Elaxim, that is tenecteplase. And it's a matter of great pride that tenecteplase for stroke, we launched, 3 years back, because I believe, my personal opinion, stroke is a bigger product, than MI. The reason being, for MI, you have multiple options, like angio or so on intervention, everything can happen. Whereas as far as stroke is concerned, that is required to be treated right away. And there, we have got third generation thrombolytic in the form of tenectase, which is tenecteplase, brand is tenectase, is doing exceedingly well. So I think, this, I mean, to a great extent, tells you the type of, technology that we have and the type of focus, that we have in science, and makes me feel good about it. So all these products, which are my marquee brands and doing exceedingly well, they have been developed in-house by my own scientist.
But actually, when you talk about the two sort of hero products, my personal favorites will always be Oro for XT, like you mentioned, because 57% Indian women are anemic and most don't even know that they are. 25% men are anemic. You have a huge opportunity to educate and to create awareness around this. And then the second one is tenectase, because stroke is truly an area. And both of these, I think, really demonstrate Emcure's commitment to science and innovation.
Okay, and what is the market share that you host in both these key products that you're talking about?
So in anemia, it's a pretty high share. I don't have the exact number in terms of the covered market. We'll get back to you. But we definitely have a dominant position. So in Gynac, we're 13.5% market share, which is 5.5% more than the second player. So that just demonstrates that we've got products that the doctors love in terms of efficacy, safety, and quality.
Perfect. Let's come to earnings, something that Satish ji was mentioning earlier, that you hope that profitability will increase. I think that has been one key concern, that why is the profitability declining, and what going forward from here? What are the levers that you have to improve your profitability here from here on, and what is the vision that you would have? Maybe if you can talk about FY25, FY26, next few years, if you have your own internal targets on both the top line and the bottom line, please.
I mean, there are three areas, which I would like to mention. One, for having a better reach and penetration and going to tier 2 and tier 3 markets, in last 12, 18 months, we have added almost 1,000 medical representatives. And Sakshi ji, as you know, it takes time, to get the productivity of the medical representatives. So obviously, it's a great decision that the company has taken. So that's one area which will pay for itself in due course of time. The second thing, in last couple of years, we have created 4 manufacturing facilities. And as far as these 4 manufacturing facilities concerned, as of now, they are underutilized. But at the same time, in next few months, that should also be utilized. So that is also tracking the profitability to some extent. So that should also get corrected. And the third area, being in pharma, what really happens, that we as a company, we cannot ignore, diabetology. I mean, unfortunately, the country is emerging as a capital of diabetes. I mean, unfortunately. So that's one area. And the other area, I was telling you about tenectase. So we got into CNS. And the third area is dermatology. So these are the 3 areas, we did not have any presence. We are investing. So to that extent, this is something which will play out over a period of time, but the right investments the company has made.
Perfect. Last word from you, Namita, for all our viewers before we end this interaction. There's so much to talk about, but there's paucity of time, so we will keep some of the opportunity even after the listing of the company. But a message to all the viewers who may be prospective investors, what would you want to say in terms of the participation in growth in the pharma space that you would like to highlight for them?
Pharma is an exciting space, and Emcure is truly a company that believes in cure and beyond. It's a purpose-driven company, so don't miss out on this IPO for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Satish and Namita, for being with us on this very special edition. All the very best to you for this upcoming IPO. And here's hoping we can get you back right after the listing and discuss more about the growth opportunities going forward. Many thanks. It's been a pleasure to host you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, viewers, we wrap up this very special conversation with the top management of Emcure Pharmaceuticals, the upcoming IPO on July 3rd. We will continue to get you more insights from the world of top analysts as to how are they looking at this opportunity for you as investors. So stay tuned on Business Today.